There are two possibilities that have to be on the table. The first is that period pain can be bad enough that you need time off work. The second is period pain can't be bad enough that you need time off work. What cannot be the case is that period pain in Spain is bad enough that you need time off work, but the period pain in the United Kingdom is not. So either this policy is wrong and the Spanish have got it wrong, or we've got it wrong in not adopting it, right? So that's the choice that you face as democratic countries. And I think that the discussion that we're going to have next in the United Kingdom, if we're going to seriously debate this and think about whether we're going to follow the Spanish example, is what realistically it would do to the workforce and what it would do to an environment in which we're trying to encourage employers to take on a more diverse workforce, which has got to mean more women in employment. And it seems to me that this is probably going to be a regressive policy. After all, we tell people that their biology is not something by which they are judged, and we tell people that their biology is not something that's going to hold them back in the workplace. Well, suddenly, you tell employers that maybe someone in your workforce is going to be out for 3 days a month, it's going to make it difficult, isn't it?
Yes, I'm right. I know that as a woman, I should be championing the old sisterhood and banging the table, going, never mind 3 days, give us 5. But I have to say a but here, because I worry about stuff like this becoming almost like a chances charter, that you'll sit there and go, oh, yeah, look at that sunshine, that's a nice bright day. Oh, I can't come in, Mr. or Mrs. Boss, I've got period pain. And who's even going to challenge that? Which boss is going to go, really? Have you?
Look, if you've got severe period pains, as many of us do, you aren't going to worry about whether or not you have to take time off. You're going to have to take time off if it's that bad. But why do you have to tell your boss what your pain's to do with? I mean, I was thinking about how this is quite a regressive policy. The first ever job interview I had upon leaving school in 1987, they asked me if I had a boyfriend, if I was planning on getting married, and if I was planning to have kids within the next sort of 2 years. Or whatever.
Next, how bad's your period? Imagine that in an interview now.
Because the point was they didn't want to invest in a single woman who hadn't had kids, who might suddenly want time off for maternity leave. So this kind of sexualisation, sex as in, not gender, but of us as employees, we fought massively to have equal representation in the workplace and to, there were a lot of old-fashioned people at the time who said women couldn't do the job properly, they weren't as robust as men, they would take more time off for kind of...
It reinforces some very old stereotypes.
It's actually quite progressive.
It reinforces some very old stereotypes about women. It reinforces some of the kind of worst 1950s down the pub, don't give a woman a job kind of attitude because of her biology.
Exactly.
It feels to me like the patriarchy in a different way, actually.
But I'm not going to I'm just not going to underestimate how bad period pain
I wasn't doing that.
For some people, but if it's bad, you ring your boss, you tell them you're not well. You don't have to tell them specifically. I hate the fact that we have to talk about our bodies all the time.
But Kevin, you're a boss. Honestly, say like if this rule came in the UK, so now if you're a woman, you've got this predicament, you can have 3 days off a month. Are you honestly saying that if you was going to hire a guy or a girl, both of equal talents or whatever, would this kind of thing potentially put you off hiring a woman?
Speaking personally, no, and I'm not being politically correct. I'll tell you why it wouldn't, right? You used a great phrase, a chances charter. Well, let me tell you, and all fellow guests tonight and your good self, it's too late for that, right? The chances charter is there already. If people want to lie to their bosses, make up illness and pretend they're sick till they have to get certified, you can already do that, right? And ultimately, that, I think is a trigger and a signal that someone's not happy in the workplace. But I bounced this proposal because, a bit like Alex, I see there's an issue that women should lead the debate on. And I asked a number of young colleagues at work, we're a 60% female workforce out of soon to be 100 people, and they were really happy with it. And they thought it was supportive and modern. And so I've got no problem with it, and it wouldn't put me off hiring women.